Welcome back. Welcome to season 2 of Aha Moments. Today, my aha moment came as I found out about an event honoring my high school softball coach, Jack Falvo. And as I reflected on the experiences that I had with him, it made me realize how relationships of belonging can be a catalyst for self-confidence. Now, when I was in high school, I had 2 different coaches in different sports. One who would openly question your competency. For a teenager who was trying to find herself, right, we all have insecurities, that really led to mistakes being a threat because of the consequences. I was afraid to try things, and I didn't perform to my capability because of my fear of punishment of making mistakes. So my second coach, Coach Falvo, observed that fear. He pulled me aside one day and he said, "I know you can do this. I'm not going to sit you just for a mistake. I trust you, so let's get to work and let's do this." That conversation told me that I was seen, that I was heard, that I was valued, and that he wanted my contribution, even if it wasn't perfect. His offering of belonging to me allowed me to spend my mental energy in developing myself, in being able to set a goal that felt big without that fear of failure. In learning to set those goals, it would be okay that I was learning. He helped me to see what I did well, along with where I was still learning, where I was still growing, where I could keep working. And he continued to help tell me a fair story of what I was experiencing. Of all the things that Coach Falvo did, his impact on my journey to understanding and trusting myself has stayed with me. For that, I'll always be grateful to him. So, how do we impact our own self-confidence or that of others? Lots of people offer solutions to self-confidence, and a lot of popular approaches focus on affirmations, just telling yourself you'll succeed. Affirmations can be powerful, but they're not the whole story when it comes to trusting yourself. So true self-confidence includes having a goal, having self-monitoring, self-evaluation, and self-reactions. And we can all struggle with a lot of aspects of these. So let's think about goal. Are we afraid to commit to a goal? If so, why is that? Do we have perfectionism? Is not getting there immediately a threat to us? Or do we not believe that we can do anything to impact our lives? Do we not have the feeling of control or capability or influence in our lives? So when we don't have the ability to set goals, it impacts our ability to trust in ourselves and having self-confidence. Now let's think about self-monitoring. Do we take the time to recognize what we have done and its impact? A lot of times we might work hard and we spin and we spin and we go hard all the time. And if we don't stop and monitor and look at what we've done, it's hard for us to recognize either progress, the things that have worked, the things that haven't worked. So a lack of self-monitoring means that whatever story we tell ourselves just continues uninterrupted, whether that story is true or not. And we can tell false positive stories as well as false negative stories. That last piece is self-evaluation. Now, self-evaluation is the ability to see clearly the progress that we've made. Do we pay attention to both the positive and the negative in our experience, or just the negative? It's a human tendency to always pay attention to the negative. But do I actually sit down and take the time to honestly and fairly evaluate what progress has been made? Now, the last one's self-reaction. Well, that's the basis for the stories that we tell ourselves. Do I tell a fair story of my journey about what I've tried to do and what I've learned? Now, I might have been self-evaluating, self-monitoring, and adjusting, but still have self-reactions that are very negative and very judgmental. And what that will do is it will impact the effectiveness of all of the self-monitoring, self-evaluating, all that I am doing, because it causes me to not see things clearly, to not see the whole picture. So self-confidence doesn't only come from our own abilities. We can work on all of these aspects, try to help ourselves build self-confidence and to learn to cultivate self-confidence. But self-confidence also doesn't have to come just from our abilities. Creating relationships of belonging, where we are valued, heard, and seen, impact our ability to do these things and impact the trust that we have in ourselves. Relationships of belonging mean that we are able to contribute and that we're supported as we try to take action, as we try to contribute, because we're still going to be imperfect. We're still going to make mistakes. We're still going to be in the process of learning. We're going to be on this path of growth and have to go through these cycles of self-monitoring and evaluation and self-reaction. And when we have a relationship of belonging, it gives us someone who helps us to do each of those aspects fairly. Someone who is outside of ourselves and sees us more clearly. So when we self-monitor, they can help us to recognize all the things that we've done, that we've tried to do, the things that have gone well. When we self-evaluate, they'll not only help us see the negative, although usually we see all of that ourselves, but they will help us to see all the good and all the progress that has happened. They also help us with our stories that we tell ourselves. They will help us to recognize the stories that we tell, and they'll also refute and give us better versions of those stories because they do see us. As we have these relationships of belonging, they will increase our ability to commit to goals, to self-monitor, self-evaluate, and self-react. But that relationship belonging is not just about feeling love. It's about our engagement in walking with someone and supporting them as they go through this process of self-monitoring, evaluation, and reacting. So think about the relationships in your life. Who has walked with you and helped your self-confidence, helped you in these aspects of self-confidence? Who really has offered belonging to you? And where can you offer belonging to others? Take a minute and think about the things that you do well in offering belonging and in accepting relationships of belonging. Identify some things that you can do to foster those relationships more. Love to hear what you're learning and how you're doing this. We'll see you next time.